Look, my friend, the CEO of Phison goes on air every week complaining, and he's not wrong. NAND flash memory manufacturers, and Phison doesn't manufacture it itself, it sources it and combines it with its own controller, have increased prices by 50% overnight. That's an incredible rate. So a 50% increase in cost behind the scenes means that by the time it reaches us, the users, it will be as high as 75%. Once the stocks of those high-speed enterprise SSDs, which we call enterprise, run out, manufacturers will turn their attention to consumer products. I already follow companies like Framework. They're very transparent. They say, look, we'll sell it at the old price for as long as we can keep the stock. But once it runs out, we'll have to raise the price. So if you're building a system, you should prioritize SSDs right now. RAM prices are a bit more stable, but SSD prices have really entered a dark phase. The technology world has reached a point where we wake up to a new crisis, a new shocking development every week. We sat down again and laid everything on the table. But as you can see, the news isn't very encouraging. I'll tell you that up front. Let's begin. First up, we have Apple, one of our most popular news stories. Things are a little different at Apple. You know, MacBook Airs and Pros have seen a price increase, around $100 to $200. But actually, Apple wasn't being clever here. It was more of a mandatory update. They doubled the storage and memory in the entry-level models. For example, they now start at 512 gigabytes. Naturally, they factored that hardware increase into the price. Because Apple went ahead and secured massive deals well in advance, it's not immediately affected by these sudden market fluctuations. It's somewhat like the sliding scale system in fuel. Because the profit margin is high, they can absorb that shock domestically. And then there's this whole 8 GB RAM issue. My friend, everyone's asking, are people still using 8 GB of RAM these days? But the Neo M3 models have implemented such a swap mechanism that the SSD is so fast that the 8 GB actually functions like 12 to 14 GB. When scrubbing 4K video in Final Cut, meaning fast forwarding and rewinding, the device doesn't lag. The fact that a device costing $600 international price could do this sent shockwaves through the PC world. Even ASUS's CEO said, this price-performance ratio has shaken us on the PC side. You can't find that aluminum case quality, that one-handed hinge engineering, that touchpad quality for under $2,000. My friend, it's impossible. Now, let's talk about the gaming side. My friend, I can almost hear you saying, can you even play games on Mac? My regards to them right away, because those guys are running Sims 4 at 100 FPS. So, who is the target audience for this device? Students? Content creators? Sims 4 is the gold standard for this audience. Some people have even tried Cyberpunk with a crossover and are getting 40 frames per second on low settings. Native games are already soaring because it also opens iPhone and iPad apps directly. AAA games from that ecosystem are at your fingertips. We'll see how much higher they'll raise the standard. Now let's take a look at the graphics card market. NVIDIA has reached 94% market share, my friend. That's a terrifying number. AMD is stuck at 5% while Intel is holding on tightly to 1%, saying, I won't give it up, I'm still here. AMD's 9000 series is actually not bad, but they are very weak in terms of marketing. And then there's the memory issue. AMD always tries to sell it cheaper than NVIDIA by including plenty of memory. But when the global memory crisis hits that -$50 to $100 advantage suddenly evaporates, and the card's price can even surpass NVIDIA's. On the NVIDIA side, new Blackwell-based chips and the ARM-based N1X platform are on the way. We're talking about 20 performance cores, my friend. I think NVIDIA should directly partner with Steam and release a Steam machine or notebook by getting rid of Windows' cumbersome 50,000 services and creating a hardware-specific operating system. They could be the only real answer to Apple. This will not only appeal to the gaming world, but it will also be like creating a brand new PC. Strange things are happening on the software side as well. Claude AI has found 100 security vulnerabilities in Firefox. These aren't just simple vulnerabilities. 14 of them are very critical. The Firefox team was initially skeptical, but then they said, "Wow, it's actually true," and started working together. Artificial intelligence won't take our jobs, but it's incredibly speeding up the process. Humans should always be in control, but AI is now a very powerful tool. If you completely hand over control to AI, like Amazon did, the company would shut down in a month. But in expert hands, it can create miracles. She is a very good assistant. Don't be fooled into thinking you can do all the work with her. The Norwegian Consumer Council has published a very important report. It's unacceptable for service quality to decline as we continue to use the products. They say, "My friend, with smart TVs and cars, one day you'll find a feature removed via a software update. Samsung TVs used to offer satellite to phone streaming, but they suddenly removed it. It doesn't work well on the old model," they say. "My friend, maybe I bought that device for that feature." We need to protect the consumer. I hope other countries will follow suit and that this will become a standard practice. WhatsApp has finally introduced parental controls for children aged 10 to 12. Families will be able to see who their child is messaging and which groups they are in. It was a long overdue but essential feature. The CEO of Seagate came out and said, "Price increases are now our new normal. Get used to it, my friend." Everyone who can't find an SSD or can't afford one, especially companies, has turned back to hard drives. When demand exploded, prices skyrocketed. The hard drive is still the most secure option for storing data, but unfortunately, its price is exorbitant. To summarize, my friend, technology is advancing in every field, but it's also squeezing our wallets in every way. I will continue to follow the news and report it to you transparently. Take good care of yourselves. You can find the news and sources below. See you soon.